would love for you to unmute, introduce yourself, and I'm going to ask every speaker here about tell us something fun about you that this community doesn't know.
Hi. Thank you, Mayor. My name is Kapil Thungavelu. I am trying to figure out how to do my speaker slides in the same time here. Let's see, I'm going to stop. I'm going to go out of presenter mode. I have been doing open source since the late 90s, back when it was sort of the days of the Halloween document and Bomber at Microsoft, and when it was just sort of a bunch of hippies doing Linux kernels and things to sort of the de facto way that everyone builds software today. It's a real honor to hear Kelsey speak. I was at Canonical doing Ubuntu Linux and a cloud orchestration system called Juju, and we were adopting Golang at the time, pre 1.0, and Kelsey was writing a bunch of blog posts at the time. So it's really awesome to come full circle and have him speak here. And thank you, Mayor, for setting us up. I'm really impressed by and excited by the speakers that we have today. So it's a really great lineup. And thank you for organizing it and making it all happen. So walking through some of, State of the Union, this is probably the least interesting talk that you're going to hear today, but I wanted to go through it and just talk about,
I just want to make sure
where we started.
everybody can see you. I know somebody mentioned your camera was not on. I can see your camera. I just want to make sure everybody else can as well.
Cool.
And do you want to do the presenter mode so we can see the slide?
I can, but I haven't figured out how to do my speaker notes at the same time. It's my only challenge. So bear with me. Actually, if it's okay, I think I'm just gonna try to do it this way. So I can hide the nope. Hopefully this is okay. So I actually left Canonical and Ubuntu Linux and joined Capital One back at the beginning of their journey to the cloud. And what I saw were one of the challenges when you're adopting like new technology is this balance of how do you go fast and enable all of your app teams to pick the latest and greatest tools and technologies while still making sure that all of your organizational policies are in effect. And we saw lots of app teams that were trying to deal with managing tags and preventing cost overruns, making sure they were applying security controls, and all that stuff ended up being handled by lots of different teams in many different ways, and it was creating a lot of waste. So there were a lot of one-off scripts. There were a lot of vendor tools that were just doing reporting, and it's like there has to be a better way to do this. And that led to the inception of Cloud Custodian as a tool focused on remediating some of these problems and helping give a consistent way of defining policies and enforcing. And being able to, as Kelsey was alluding to, really being able to capture the context of how people wanted to handle things in different environments. Like this particular org division needed to do some additional tags. They wanted to do off hours at night, but in their dev environments, but not in prod. And so being able to have a flexible policy language was really key. Custodian was open sourced in April of 2016. And so we're almost at the 10-year point. And I'm hoping at KubeCon EU in Amsterdam in March 2026 that we will do a birthday celebration party, old enough to go to middle school, so to speak. And so what did we actually do to try to alleviate these issues? We created a rules engine that allowed a high-level YAML DSL to be able to identify cloud resources and then take actions on them, and including doing workflows of giving people some 2-week grace period, and then being able to then shut things down and then give them another 2 weeks and then delete them. And so being able to do that, being able to do real-time enforcement where we're introspecting API calls as they're happening, was really key to being able to do clean up environments, so that they were always in effect. Because, you know, if governance is an afterthought in some environments, like being able to deal with that real world remediation of cleaning up what's already extant and preventing stopping the bleeding on new resource creation that's not compliant is key. So being able to do both the workflows on existing stuff and the real-time enforcement to prevent new things. And in that time since, we've since April 2016, even from initially open sourcing it, we got a lot of adoption from lots of different users, from different cloud providers, and they added more resources trying to address their individual needs. And this is one of the key things around being open source is that, being able to self-service your own needs, being able to contribute to the project. The cloud providers are going have hundreds of different teams doing lots of different feature work. Their only way to keep up with that pace of innovation, I believe, is through the power of open source and community. um, and so now, 10 years, nearly 10 years later, we've got, I think actually closer to like 800 resource types across 5 different cloud providers. Thousands of production users, and almost 500 contributors, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So looking forward to things that have happened since the last State of the Union. We've done about a dozen releases. We still try to keep to about a release a month, every 4 to 6 weeks. We've added 70 new contributors, several new maintainers from different companies, over 400 pull requests merged, and we've broadened our coverage across clouds. We've done some additional work with CNCF around doing the security audit, and being able to extend the underlying core into to be part of some of the open source fuzzing projects that Google runs, and expanding out on filters and actions and governance capabilities across new services. So a lot of this is really just business as usual. Like this is, Custodian has to try to keep up with all the new provider resources. And we do that through community members wanting to contribute on individual things that they're using within their organizations. So that tends to be sort of the day-to-day activity. If we're looking at a given PR set of PRs, there's going to be the vast majority of them are really just about how do we enable some new cloud provider resource, some new filtering, some new action, to be able to solve our organization's needs. And then we've added some new providers. I'm really excited about some of our shift left work around the Terraform provider, which allows us to do enforcement inside of the developer pipeline at CI time on the developer workstation, pre-commit and pre-deployment. And of course, Custodian is a community project. We've added so many new contributors the last year, and we're always looking to have additional ones. And we host a bi-weekly community meeting. If you have any questions about how to use Custodian, like we always have the Slack channel, but sometimes it's always nice to get live interactive help. And of course, all contributors are welcome. Everyone is welcome to come, and we also have a lot of contributors there discussing their PRs and getting reviews. So looking towards the future, one thing I'm excited about is some of the new provider work that's being done, and there'll be a talk later today. But we've created this consistent language that applies that allows us to apply policies across lots of different providers, being able to now take that into new directions. So we can go from Terraform to Kubernetes to some of the major cloud providers, being able to look into some of the additional SaaS platforms. And one of the more interesting ones is some of the ones that house some of our data repositories, both in the form of processing and compute and Databricks, as well as in the form of Snowflake, where you're actually storing large amounts of data, being able to make sure that those things are tagged, optimized, and cost efficient. So we'll be looking forward to one of the presentations later today with Sunny, where he talks about the new Snowflake provider. And then looking at our CNCF status, we sort of got to incubating a couple years ago, and we kind of just decided to coast for there for a while. But as we go to our 10-year anniversary, looking to go ahead and apply for graduation status. And in the process of doing that, we've also added a governance charter, and that's been discussed at the last few custodian weekly community meetings. And now looking to try to go through the last few steps so that some of this is not a lot of, like many foundation things, this is gated not so much on the project, but on the availability within the foundation to be able to add another review. But looking forward to trying to get to that in the next year. And yeah, we're at 470 contributors. Amir referenced a link in my slides. This is it. We want to be able to send t-shirts out to everybody who's contributed, as well as any community members that are interested. Please go ahead and use that link to starting with folks in the US to be able to get a t-shirt delivered to you for Cloud Custodian. And so now we're kind of seeing, I think we'll try to do something special for the actual 500, this number 500, but we'll see. I think we're getting pretty close, and I think there's probably about 10 PRs up from new contributors, so we may get there pretty quickly. So looking forward to passing that milestone. And in summary, I just want to thank all of you. Cloud Custodian exists because of its community and thrives and grows because of all of you.